Okay, but with the with this second part to the Mythinformation Conference that's coming up, he's going to be the headliner kind of. But we've also got Mandisa Thomas and David Fitzgerald. Now, I can guess what David Fitzgerald's going to talk about, but I'm kind of curious, what is Mandisa Thomas going to be talking about?
Engineer, a conscious pioneer, a logic general, a reason brigadier. More bullshit from the pulpit. Meet me in the comment section and you get schooled, bitch. The Godless Engineer.
Again, I'll take this one. Mandisa Thomas is going to be discussing black comedians and how they've used humor to kind of, I don't want to say slam religion, but like criticize religion.
Like, what's his name, Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Good old Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I forget exactly which comedians she's going to talk about, but that's the crux of her presentation, is to talk about various entertainers and how they use their humor to criticize religion.
Well, that's
Red
cool.
Fox, Dick Gregory probably. Dick Gregory was a Richard Pryor influencer and a really, really sharp comic in the 60s that people forget about a lot.
You're right, never even heard of him.
Yeah, and if you look him up and look at some of his stuff, you're like, wow. He's Richard Pryor without the profanity, basically, and a lot of other earlier black comedians took their entire cue from him. Real groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's where it starts. I mean, it really starts in humor and being able to poke fun at religion and, some of the ridiculousness that comes out of it. I mean, that's very, very good for society, I think, once you're able to start making fun of things and challenging them, at least, even from a humor standpoint, it really, starts progressing that conversation.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, look at Bill Maher and Ricky Gervais and even Jon Stewart.
I mean, he's not alive anymore, but George Carlin, he joked about
Absolutely.
literally everything. Nothing was off the table. Nothing was not allowed to be joked about, which I totally think is true. I think everything should be allowed to be joked about.
Well, that's what we're missing, man. Political correctness is killing the world.
Yeah. Now, I know Chris Rock has a lot of religious stuff in his sets sometimes. So I'd be interested to know if she's going to bring Chris Rock up, because I know that would be one of the comedians that come to my mind first. It'd be him and I can't remember the comedian's name that exposed the whole Bill Cosby deal.
Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal Buress, yes.
Yeah, we actually tried to get him on one of our shows. He's gotten so popular now that I was in talks with his people. He's thinking about it, but he's gotten so popular these days. He's just getting slammed. But yeah, he's great. He's so funny.
Well, now, so
maybe I should look this guy up.
What was that?
No, I said maybe I should look this guy up.
Hannibal Buress is pretty awesome. He's got a few memes rotating the social media networks, just about religion and whatnot. So he's a pretty interesting guy. Now, of course, the other speaker you got coming is David Fitzgerald, who I love. But is he? What's he going to be talking about exactly?
Well, he's doing a custom talk for this conference, which I'm really excited about. Now, he is entitled 10 Beautiful Lies About Jesus. So I'm sure you've seen that, Godless. I'm sure you've seen his 10 Beautiful Lies About Jesus, but he's going to put some custom info in there and some new items and some things that, because we do have more of an educated audience, I'd say, as far as the mythicist position goes. So I'm going to try and challenge him to get some more, even some, bigger nuggets in there. So it'll be interesting. I mean, it'll be interesting what he comes up with. He's a great entertainer when he's talking. He's fantastic. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, and see, now I'm just really kicking myself in the butt that I'm not going to be able to make it up there. Cause
well, you never know. Maybe we can make something happen. That'd be great.
Together a Kickstarter for Godless.
Yeah. But I'm kind of curious, what are you guys doing to prepare for the conference as opposed to, the conference in April? You guys doing anything different?
Well, actually, if we could, Rob, if you can talk to, before we forget, Arthur George, he's our fourth speaker. If Rob can talk to what he's going to be talking about, what he's talking about is going to be fantastic.
He's going to talk about the mythology of Eden, right? What he already talked about, no?
Yep.
The mythology of Eden?
Of Eden itself. His book is about the mythology of Eden, and it fascinated me because he's got archaeological record of the missing feminine goddess, and he's got so much to talk about that's actually backed up by statuary, not just crusty books and cross-referencing and extrapolated information and conclusions drawn from inference. He's got like plaques that they found that were in Babylon of where kings and queens mentioned the goddess Asherah in particular, and I imagine he'll tie that in with other ones as the story goes. But it's fascinating stuff what he does, and he's from right here in Lake Forest. So again, we have a great mix of local guy, and then one of the top mythicists in Fitzgerald, and a great speaker, and really two rising black stars in the secular world, which leads me to believe that we're probably going to get a big last minute draw from the local community that are going to come out to see Kill a Priest and find out that they have a chance to join perhaps a local black skeptics group like Black Non-Believers. That Mandisa Thomas will be there to offer them.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I know, me personally, I've been, I regularly like to look into different, talks and stuff about every facet of religion in general. So that sounds like a really interesting talk.
And the thing, when I started on the path of the mythicist study, in 2013. I was introduced to the film Zeitgeist. Now, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of comments in the bottom of this video that start slamming on Zeitgeist, but one of the things that Zeitgeist did and what D.M. Murdoch did in that film, and I'm talking about part one, not any of the other parts of Zeitgeist, just to be clear, but what that film did, I know it got a lot of scholarship wrong, but what it did is it simplified a lot of this information that we see that showcases the problems with the historicity of Jesus and the problems with the Jesus of faith, and it showcases how these earlier mythologies and stories actually influence Christianity and all of the Abrahamic faiths, and that makes more sense, and that really got me excited. That's how we started Mythicist Milwaukee. Antonio and I, we just started this group, just two guys going around, and we ended up going to Egypt, and then we went to Greece and Nicaragua and like all these places and for research, and then we just started this little group in Milwaukee, and we met Rob and Lawrence, and we have 14 people on the team now, and we're starting to bring this information out there, and that's what it's been about since the beginning. It's how do you get this information out to popularize this information to the local community and even the national community. So that's kind of been our focus, and we're trying to figure out how to do it. With the podcast conferences, meetups, whatever it is. You know, we're trying to figure it out, and it looks like we're starting to have some success. I mean, if Wu-Tang's, you know, going to be coming down, that's just a huge win for the mythicist position, you know, altogether.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.